Good evening from Raleigh, North Carolina. Tonight, available on ESPN HD, we continue our month in the ACC on Thursday night. At the home of the Wolfpack, North Carolina State comes into its facility feeling pretty good. Why? Because they won a dynamite game last Thursday. Now, can they back it up? If they do, Chuck Amato's team has to do it against Charlie Whitehurst, one of the veteran quarterbacks who's brought Clemson across the border for another battle in this tight conference. In the demanding ACC, mere inches often separate the victors from the vanquished.
Moss got an opening. Tyrone Moss inside the 15. The 10 down the sideline. Touchdown.
Starting 1-3 in conference, Clemson has tasted overtime losses to ACC powers Miami and Boston College. North Carolina State had its own rocky road, coming up just short against the defending conference champs, number 3 Virginia Tech. Then last Thursday, the Wolfpack season rested on the fingertips of the nation's best receiver. Ball looks for Johnson up top. Intercepted, and North Carolina State is going to win the game. The Wolfpack finally got a bounce in their favor as their fortunes and possibly their season turned on a single play. Tonight, NC State looks to build on their newfound momentum against a desperate Clemson team looking to knock out that momentum. Where will the fortunes fall tonight? We find out from Raleigh next. Football Primetime welcomes you to the ACC, presented by Cooper Tires. Tonight from the state capital of North Carolina, in Raleigh, two teams that know each other pretty well. They are mirror images, Clemson and North Carolina State. And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the start of a very good college football weekend. Aaron Andrews on the sideline with my partner Kirk Herbstreit, Mike Tirico. So often you get stopped in airports, I know. You listen to talk radio, you hear people complain, oh, our school does this, our coach, he should be on the hot seat. It's such a fine margin between having a great season and having a poor season. Look at these two teams, for example, Herbie. 5 losses combined with these two teams. Each of the 5 games came down to the final possession. The margin is so small, that means the psyche can be adjusted just like that.
Well, you and I talked about the game last week. After North Carolina State came up with that big interception, what a difference in an attitude you're going to find a week later from this NC State team. And we found that talking with players, talking with coaches. There's a little bit more confidence, a little bit more swagger, and it came down to one play. That's how this ACC race is going this year. And Chuck Amato, we had a chance to talk with him for about an hour and a half. He all of a sudden, we didn't talk about the game a lot, but we had a chance to talk to him quite a bit. And he's got his personality back. And one play changes that dynamic completely. And now they're a confident team at 2-2 coming into this game with Clemson.
In the meantime, there's Clemson. If North Carolina State's been in tight games, Clemson, forget about it. Every game has come down really to the last snap or two, and Aaron Andrews is standing by with the coach of the Tigers.
Well, Coach, you just mentioned it. All 5 games have come down to the very last play. What have you done to keep your team's confidence up?
That's been the biggest challenge because they read more things about how negative it is. But as far as statistically, if you look at it, 3rd in the nation, least amount of turnovers, 2nd, 3rd in the nation, the penalties, playing hard, playing down the wire. You know, we've got to keep that instilled because eventually your luck will turn.
So how do you do that? What are you telling them?
Just what I told you. Eventually it'll turn. That's what you have to go on because who do you go to for advice? Nobody. My father's been coaching 50 years and never had 5 come down the last play a game in a row.
All right, Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you, Aaron. Talking about his dad, he's sounding more like his dad every single day.
Unbelievable. He is, and he's right. His team is doing the little things to win games. They're just not able to go out and execute it when it really counts in these last 3 games. But I will say this, one thing he has going for him as a veteran quarterback. Yeah. Charlie Whitehurst makes his 35th career start for Clemson tonight. He's a veteran. He knows what it takes. And the most important thing and the thing to remember tonight, if I'm Charlie Whitehurst and I'm Clemson, is Clemson in the last 2 years, when they've got off to slow starts, has gone on to win their last 5 of the last 6 games they have played with Charlie Whitehurst there as a quarterback. That's a big advantage when you're trying to turn this thing around.
They play tight games. We expect a tight game tonight.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Which probably means somebody will win by 40. The way the ACC goes, you can't figure it. Now, we think this one will be close. As we mentioned, start of a great college football weekend. Desmond Howard, Mark May, and Reese Davis in the studio. Good evening, Reese.
Hello, Mike. You know, it's been 99 years since Clemson played 5 straight games decided by 7 points or less. So Tommy Bowden's right. Even his dad doesn't know how to experience that. Ought to be a close one tonight between Clemson and North Carolina State. Glad to have you along.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar. Eating good in the neighborhood. Applebee's. Singular. Raising the bar. And Circuit City. For the hottest new technology, think Circuit City. Just what I needed.
Usual very good atmosphere for a Thursday night here in Raleigh as we get set for 2-3 Clemson, 2-2 North Carolina State. Traditionally, when they've met, the games have been pretty close. Well, one thing that has been a major issue for North Carolina State throughout this year and other years, penalties. How do you stop penalties? Do you coach them? Is it attitude? Who knows what it is? But we do know this. Only a couple of teams in the nation have been worse than the Wolfpack the last couple of years, and that number was amplified last Thursday night in Atlanta.
Coach, 2 losses in your opening 2 ACC games. What have been the struggles?
Penalties. Offside.
What a
we have
buckhead.
2 blocking the back. We have a personal foul.
We got 2 flags and a hat. That is the full NC State hat trick of flagitation. Look at Chuck.
Next Thursday versus Clemson, what do you need to work on?
Do you want to tell me?
Penalties, penalties, penalties.
You think? You think?
Well, just to save Chuck's sanity, Rob Stone's not here with us, but Aaron Andrews, the theme is still the same. Welcome back. It's penalties, penalties, penalties.
And penalties. That's right, Mike. Still a topic of discussion in that Wolfpack locker room. You know, I was talking to some of the players before the game. They said this afternoon they watched a video with some of the highlights from last Thursday night's Georgia Tech game. And then afterwards, Chuck Amato edited in the referee announcing all 10 of those penalties consecutively. Center Leroy Harris told me afterwards it was completely silent in that room because everybody was embarrassed. The topic today, play smart, but go out there and play. Mike?
All right, Aaron, we'll watch that for Chuck Amato. As Reese Davis mentioned, longtime assistant with Bobby Bowden there at Florida State for 18 years. His team will be on offense. First, so let's check the Bud Light starting lineups. Jay Davis is the quarterback out of Clearwater, Florida. He's really done well in the shadow of Phillip Rivers, now a year and a half gone by, with Tremaine Hall and a good freshman back, Tony Baker. Brian Clark took 2 big touchdowns last week, but TJ Williams is the star receiver. 18 catches, averaging 12 per. As for the guys up front, they did a good job in pass protection last week against Georgia Tech. This group coming together with Newby, Hepe, Harris, Herndon, and Derek Morris. Ideal weather for a football game, Kirk. Beautiful night here in Raleigh.
Absolutely perfect. Great crowd. Both teams need a win. It's a great Thursday night game when the ACC next, we had them last week, tonight, 2 more weeks. Oh, this is great.
We see Virginia Tech the next couple of weeks at Maryland and then home for Boston College. And a little bit later on, we're scheduled to be joined by the dean of the conference at the top of it, Bobby Bowden, by phone. But it's his son Tommy's team against Chuck Amato. Jad Dean set to go. A great weekend of college football. Glad you're with us to start it. And off we go from Raleigh. Pretty good kickoff, and it will be returned. Nope. On second thought, take a knee. Philip Holloman. So the Clemson defense will be on the field with a long field to defend. They're not special up front. Charles Bennett is perhaps the best of this group off the defensive end with Clark Tate and Adams. Linebackers, they get better with Tremaine Billy, Anthony Waters, top tackler in the middle, and Nick Watkins. And as for the guys over in the back end, remember they were so good for so many years on that corner. Ty Hill has stepped up with that cover role with Hamlin, Jamal Fudge, and Sergio Gilliam. Justin Miller seemed like he was here forever, second-round pick with the New York Jets. Opening drive of the night starts from the 20, and Jay Davis to the air right away, and deep and incomplete. Trying to find Lamar Barrett coming underneath. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Davis. Kirk, he's completing a higher percentage of his passes this year.
Well, I think it's just because Jay Davis is a more comfortable quarterback, Mike, and we talked quite a bit about it last week. No longer in the shadow of Phillip Rivers, no longer feeling that pressure with a year under his belt. Even in a new system, Jay Davis looks like a different quarterback. He has all the physical tools as far as throwing the football, but now he's got the attitude and confidence to go along with it.
Ton of formation variation by the Wolfpack. They go empty here. Davis steps up, finds his freshman back, and Tony Baker is going to be a yard shy of the first down. Brought down at the 29-yard line. Is either team tonight a threat to throw it deep downfield?
Well, it was funny. The first play of the game, North Carolina State broke a tendency because they, for the most part, like the possession pass game where they're throwing everything underneath. It's a rhythm drop, and Jay Davis likes to get rid of the ball rather quickly. First pass, he took some time and tried to get it vertical. He just missed the throw, but you're right. Both teams, for the most part, will try to throw the ball underneath coverage and try to build some continuity that way.
3rd and a long yard. Baker, first down and more as he takes it out. Shy of the 44-yard line. Tony Baker, freshman, Jamestown, North Carolina, gains 15. He's averaging over 4.5 a carry.
Mike, I think we love the stable of backs that North Carolina State has. This is great vision by Baker. The play designed to the left. He got a great double team off to the right-hand side, was well aware of it, cut it back, and not only picks up a first down, but on verge of breaking that for a big, big carry for NC State.
Got a nice block from Octavius Darby, the 4th tight end, in as a fullback. Now out of the gun, the handoff. This was what the run offense looked like a year or so ago. Just a gain of a yard. How about Michael Hamlin coming up from the safety spot to make the stop? And here's Kirk's Under Armour advantage for tonight.
Well, North Carolina State, the biggest thing they have to do as a group, wide receivers, is recognize the coverage. There's going to be multiple looks. They have got to be able to handle that. For Clemson, comes down to tackling. Mike, you indicated the way Jay Davis likes to throw a lot of things underneath. Very, very important for the secondary to come up and be sure tacklers to try to keep them short of the first down.
Anthony Hill, a sophomore wide receiver with 6 catches, is in the game, in motion. Trying to get it to T.J. Williams, the tight end who was hit. Now makes the catch. Look at Williams fight to get to midfield. Gaines Adams does the chasing. That was intended to go to Williams all the way, but there was contact before he was able to get off the line. We'll check the first flag of the night. Joe Ritter leads our ACC crew this evening. And a big old conversation between all the officials.
T.J. Williams is the go-to guy. When Jay Davis needs yardage, talking to him yesterday in the player lounge, when they need a first down, 2nd long, 3rd long, he's his #1 target. We saw that last week. Probably one of the best tight end prospects in the entire country.
He is. Runs a 4.6 40 with that size.
260 pounds, moves very well, and more importantly, just has a great feel of how to get open, whether it's man coverage or whether it's zone.
Well, there go the penalties. 2 on the first play, or the same play.
Don't start. Come on.
Less than 7 on the line. On the offense, that penalty is declined. We have a block in the back, number 83, above the waist, at the flag. 10 yards, first down.
Anthony Hill, the backup tight end.
Mark Tressman, the offensive coordinator for North Carolina State, was very proud of his teams. Even though the team as a group had a lot of penalties last week against Georgia Tech, the little things, they did very well. And here is Mark Tressman, the offensive coordinator, coming in from the NFL, years and years coaching around the league with Miami, the Oakland Raiders. Just did such a great job. And he said, we're still in the progress of growing as a group. So the week that they had last week where they didn't self-destruct was very important, because that's been the theme this year. When NC State has struggled, it's been a lot of times just self-destructing.
The flag makes it 2nd and 19 for Jay Davis, and the Floridian throws high. It's brought in 3 yards shy of the first down for Lamar Barrett. So the junior makes his 7th catch of the year. It's a pickup of 17.
Anytime you have to get the ball thrown downfield, which is getting out of the comfort zone to a certain degree for North Carolina State, it comes down to protection, keeping it tight in there, and Anthony Hill to help out to give you maximum protection. Now it's just a matter of the quarterback and the receiver getting on the same page. Barrett did an exceptional job of going up and making the catch. That was very good concentration there.
And again, on 3rd and short, they go empty. And just a long handoff to Tremaine Hall. He is stopped shy of the first down. Ty Hill and Anthony Waters, two of the top defenders on this Clemson unit, have forced 4th down.
Early in the game, huge stop for Vic Koenig, the defensive coordinator in the Clemson Tiger defense. On the road, you've lost 3 games in a row in such close fashion. To come in after NC State had picked up a first down and to force that on 3rd and short, Mike, was very important for them.
John Durante to kick it. Chancey Stuckey awaits. Durante does all the kicking for North Carolina State. Good job in this situation last week. And again here. Hitting the opponent inside the 20. It's down at the 14 by Marcus Hudson. The kick was 35. So Clemson will take the field. Let's check the Bud Light starting lineup for the Tigers on offense. Charlie Whitehurst, as Kirk said, that's a record now for his consecutive starts as he gets it out to 35. Good freshman back James Davis and Stephen Jackson. Curtis Bayham, 1 receiver. Chancey Stuckey was back on the punt. 21 receptions in the year. Bobby Williamson, the tight end. As for the guys up front, no seniors, a tougher offensive line. Barry Richardson, just a sophomore, is a mountain. 6'7", 335. Those 2 fries, Roman and Dustin, are not related, except they're both Tigers. 1st and 10 for the 14. Reggie Merriweather is the back. And a gain of about 3 yards to the 17 for the junior. North Carolina State's defense, one of the better ones, averaging 19 points allowed per game. The ends are the good guys with Williams and Lawson, but John McCargo disrupts so much up front. The linebackers, top 2 tacklers, Stephen Tulloch and Oliver Hoyt, to go with LaRue Rumpf. Tulloch is involved in everything for a small guy. As for the back end, Marcus Hudson, A.J. Davis are the corners. Garland Heath, J.J. Jones are the safeties. 2nd and 6, and the back stumbles as Merriweather might have gotten his feet tied up with Whitehurst. We'll have 3rd down coming up. Kirk, the lineups went by quick. I just want to make the point. J.J. Jones starts tonight because Miguel Scott, who had an interception against Georgia Tech, is out with a high ankle sprain. So watch the back end for State tonight.
And if you have not seen Clemson play yet this year with Charlie Whitehurst, you're accustomed to seeing him in the shotgun, sitting back and throwing. And you'll see that still, but it's a different looking offense now with Rob Spence as an offensive coordinator, and we'll talk about that as Clemson has the ball throughout tonight.
They look like the old Clemson in this formation. 4 receivers, 1 back. Whitehurst finds the middle, incomplete, intended for Curtis Bayham, so it's 3 and out for Clemson on its opening drive. Those 2 ends, Williams and Lawson with the pressure.
And this is something that Clemson's going to have to be able to beat. If they're going to move the ball tonight, press man coverage is going to be the coverage they're going to see against Chuck Amato. The receivers from Clemson are going to have to make plays tonight against some very good corners from NC State if they're going to have a consistent offensive effort tonight.
That was Aaron Kelly, the receiver who came through after Bayham crossed in front of him. Time for a cold chasing punt. Decent air under it. Ball is dropped and dropped right back on by Jarrell Blackman, and the fans a little uptight. He has struggled with his punt returns this year after leading the ACC in that category last year. Still, good field position for State when you come back. Back at a refurbished and beautiful Carter Finley Stadium. Just a couple of miles from the main part of the NC State campus. The edge reaches over this way. Done a great job here as this North Carolina State program continues to take steps to be a part of this big ACC. Nice field position. Their own 48 for this drive to start. And this good-looking freshman back, Tony Baker, picks up a first down and a gain of about a dozen across the 40 and to the 39-yard line.
Mike, it's always the little things that can get you in trouble as a defensive back. And in this case, it's the safety trying to come up, and look at the angle that he takes here. The angle coming straight up as opposed to coming from the outside where the potential of the running back might be.
They go no huddle here, Kirk, and Baker goes back for about a yard as a helmet comes flying. It was face masked off. And it looks like it's going to cost Clemson 15 yards. See if that was.
NC State would love to see one of these go against somebody else.
You watch. You watch.
After a play, personal foul, grasping the face mask on the defense. 15 yards, automatic, first down.
Well, you're going to get called for this every time. When there's a big pile like this, not a good move. Not a move. And Waters is just trying to make a play, trying to grab on anything he can. But when you wrap around, you get a hold of that face mask and pull a guy's helmet off. That's guaranteed 15 yards. And Jay Davis and the Wolfpack will take that.
A lot of two tight end look early on here tonight with TJ Williams and Anthony Hill. That's Hill in motion, trying to get the ball to 80 Williams. Little razzle-dazzle, which worked last week in Atlanta, and this week becomes an interception. Jamal Fudge is incomplete. All right, incomplete, hit the ground as Jamal Fudge almost had his second interception.
Mike, I was with you. I thought it looked like an interception by Fudge. But I think the ball may have skipped just before it got to him. This is the same, almost the same timing early in the game that NC State used last week against Georgia Tech. Yeah. And it definitely skipped. Last week against Georgia Tech, they caught him out of position and made the big play for a touchdown to Brian Clark. This time, Clemson prepared, well prepared for it.
Yeah, Fudge didn't try to fudge the call. He knew right away, just flipped it back. Meantime, a good run for about 6 yards. On first down, Darrell Blackman took it. Jermaine Billy made the tackle. Important to this game, Clemson's 1-3 in the league. North Carolina State 1-2. So the loser tonight not only has no chance of finishing in the upper half of the division, they have almost an impossible road without an upset or two to getting to the postseason. So even though it is just before the halfway point, there is a save the season urgency tonight. Davis rolls it and just throws it away as Charles Bennett seemed to be untouched. Nice grab in the front row.
Mike, last two times that Clemson's front four has faced third down, they've been able to get pressure. The defensive ends, Gaines Adams on one side and Charles Bennett on the other, have tremendous athletic ability. If they can sustain that effort throughout the night, it'll make it that much tougher on Jay Davis because they're bringing just the four. It's putting the rest of the defense, the 7 on the backside, back into coverage.
John Duraney hasn't missed a kick all year. 36-yard attempt. One of 9 kickers who does everything. Punts, kickoffs, and placement kicks. And he's missed for the first time this year. So a quick hook left, and Tommy Bowden's team able to avoid the easy points. Clemson takes over after this.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Cooper Tire's Ultimate Bowl Tour. Go to a Cooper dealer near you or visit ultimatebowltour.com to enter. And in part by Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at mbusa.com.
With Aaron Andrews, Kirk Herbstreit, Mike Tirico on hand here in Raleigh. 6.5 gone by opening quarter. North Carolina State misses a short field goal. Second drive for Clemson. The first was a 3-and-out. Reggie Merriweather trying to climb through a small hole. And the junior out of North Augusta, South Carolina, only gains about 2. Kirk, what about the Under Armour advantage when the Tigers have the ball?
Mike, we talked about Clemson having a different look. They have to be able to run the football, but the receivers are the key. Getting off of the press coverage because North Carolina State plays 80% man-free. and their job is to try to disrupt the timing. And since Charlie Whitehurst a lot of times gets rid of the ball so quick and it's tough to get pressure on him, if you can hold up those receivers in coverage, gives your defensive line, which is your strength, more time to get to him.
4 receivers here. Another run out of the gun with Merriweather, stopped at 25 by Stephen Tulloch, the junior who was the top tackler out of Miami of Florida. It's funny because I'm looking down here and watching this offense, and it feels like the same formations we've seen a lot of here in the first quarter. 3 wide, 4 wide, no huddle, shotgun. But that's not what this offense has done a lot to this point.
Now, this is an offense that has taught, as we talked with Rob Spence, on first and second down, wants to be physical. That's been a big thing that they've talked about leading into this season, is having a physical group up front, being able to be tougher, and having more balance.
Empty the backfield, and a little shovel pass underneath works well, but Stuckey ran into the traffic that was waiting and will be shy of the first down. So Chancey had it. Looked like it was going to gain a first down, but all of a sudden the whole pack were there, and it's the second straight 3 and out for the Tigers.
Well, Mike, anytime a defense is playing man coverage, you're going to have a lot of people flying to the football, and the backside defensive back Philip Holman is coming over. There's an entire group of defenders, but at the same time, Chancey Stuckey does have to realize, as he's been around now, he's got to get upfield as fast as he can and try to pick up that first down.
Boy, you see the impact of speed on a defense, how quick those red shirts got over there. NC State really has a return set up as Chasen's kick goes to Blackman at the 30. He is desperate to break one. And Darrell Blackman has a little bit of room to get out to the 40-yard line on this return. A return of 10. Fans want a flag for a push out of bounds, but they stopped hitting him before he got over the sideline. Pick 42, return 10. NC State winning the field position battle early in this scoreless game. Well, college football prime time in the ACC tonight and then Saturday night, presented by Polaroid. Winningest coach in major college history, Florida State taking on Al Groh's Virginia team. It's hard to believe it's been a decade already since the most famous Thursday night when Virginia in Charlottesville stopped Florida State's run of dominance in the ACC. You'll see that game Thursday night, or Saturday night, I should say, here on ESPN. 7:45 Eastern. First down run for Baker. Takes it out to about the 45-yard line as Tony gets almost 6 there on first down. And as mentioned before, we are scheduled to visit by phone with Bobby Bowden coming up in about the next half hour or so. So hang around with us for that.
Florida State just kind of hanging around. A lot of people talking so much about USC and Texas and now Georgia after their big win at Tennessee. Florida State kind of a forgotten team up to this point, and their defense keeps getting better, and more importantly, Drew Weatherford, their quarterback, and those young receivers are getting better.
These two teams still have Florida State waiting. Baker could not hit the hole of 3rd and a yard coming up. Let's go down to the field and find out more about the offensive line with Aaron Andrews. Aaron?
Hey guys, we have to give Leroy Harris, their center, a little bit of praise. He's working on not very much sleep, but forget that. How about his wife, Christina, gave birth to Leroy III yesterday. 30 hours of labor, born at 6:52 a.m. Baby was a month early, but 8 pounds, 11 ounces. Asked Leroy how he was holding up. He said he hates to say this, but he did get 11 hours sleep yesterday.
Oh.
Mama in the hospital today watching the game, and he wanted to let her know he loves her. Hope she's feeling better.
Wow. 30 hours, Aaron?
30 hours, boys.
Wait, wow. I'm focused on the 8 pounds.
And that's a month early.
Wow. Woo. He snaps it on 3rd and 1. The ball is free. And NC State able to get it back, but we're going to, well, let's see. Yes, NC State has it back. We'll have 4th down. The Clemson coaches are in disbelief. They're out on the field yelling at the referee. But it is 4th down, and we'll have a punt coming up.
Mike, this is the third down that North Carolina State has not been able to convert on. 2 of them have been on 3rd and short. And going back to the most important thing and what they're trying to achieve tonight is sustaining drives, finding their rhythm, not self-destructing. And right now, early here in this football game, they're not having a lot of success with that.
Delaney, beautiful high hanger. Chancey Stuckey, fair catch at the 17. So just a kick of 37 yards and poor field position. Clemson takes over. Well, Clemson Tiger fans, it has been a drama, as Aaron would say, for all 5 games this year. Texas A&M, Labor Day Saturday at the gun, game-winning field goal, win by 1. Merriweather, final 3 minutes, a touchdown, and then they had to stop Maryland driving at the end to win 28-24. Then Miami, triple overtime, the loss to the Canes by 6, and just that shot of devastation on Tommy Bowden's face, losing to Toll and BC in overtime for their 4th consecutive game at the gun. Whitehurst first down with a flag down for Stuckey, who got behind the secondary, and the pass was incomplete. We have a marker down back at the line of scrimmage.
Like, you wonder how a team can respond to that when they face such adversity in these close games and losing 3 games, that they can make a very strong argument that they could have won those games. And I would say that having a veteran quarterback starting tonight, his 35th career start, helps, but also Tommy Bowden.
Number 9 on the defense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
Mario Williams, defensive end.
Tommy Bowden made a great point to us, saying that our rallying call is, guys, we have not quit. We have played hard. Every game we've fought for 60 minutes, and that's what he's most proud of. So between that, having a veteran quarterback, and the other thing to remember is this Clemson team has finished strong the last 2 years, winning 5 of their last 6. And they've beaten some pretty impressive teams. You're talking about Tennessee in a bowl game, Miami, Florida State. So they've got some guys that have experienced that, and that'll help them get out of this rut.
It is a run off the end by the tight end, Thomas Hunter. And he takes it over the 40, out to the 44-yard line, getting him 16 yards officially on that one, and a first down. Good job of ball faking by Whitehurst.
Mike, it's a little thing, and I know Clemson hasn't had a lot of success yet tonight running the football, but the fact that NC State has looked at 5 games of tape, they're familiar with this, a different team. They're so geared in on stopping the run on 1st and 10 or 2nd and 5 or 1st and 5, that the safety that time, DeJuan Morgan, got out of position and left the tight end wide open, Hunter, for the first down.
Whitehurst, pocket closes in. He throws it complete. This is Tyler Grisham, a freshman wide receiver who gets a gain of 6 out to the 45-yard line. Grisham's first collegiate catch. That's what you talked about, Kirk. These strong finishes in 2003 and 4 for Tommy Bowden's team, compounded by the fact that there was a lot of heat on the head coach at that time as well.
Yeah, it was during a tough time for him personally. He was able to block a lot of that out. As I said, he came up with some big wins. And boy, Charlie Whitehurst, when he came back from the sideline there, I don't know if he stepped on something or what, but he acted a little ginger there with his footing when he came back onto the field.
Bayham in motion. Whitehurst throws it back in the middle. Incomplete. Coming right over the top to knock it down was Marcus Hudson. Pass intended for Bayham, and Bowden wanted a flag.
Mike, getting back to the one-on-one battle between the Clemson wide receivers and the North Carolina State secondary. This is something that we're going to watch throughout the night. And Marcus Hudson last week had Calvin Johnson. This time you're going to watch him come in with the receiver. I thought he did a nice job of coming around and batting the ball away with his right hand.
I think you're right. Oliver Hoyt was shaken up. The middle linebacker's out of this play. 3rd and 4. Whitehurst almost had it intercepted. It turns into a catch of all things, and a big run for Stuckey to the 33-yard line. It's almost as if all the players thought it was going the other way. Somebody lost a shoe in the process. It goes down as a completion and a gain of 22 yards.
Mike, the shame of this is that you couldn't cover this any better. 3rd down, big down. North Carolina State's bringing pressure with the linebackers. They have Williams coming up the middle. I mean, that's an interception for Tulloch. He's gone. That's touchdown the other way. And I think North Carolina State started the block.
Yes.
They're running downfield, ready to make the block. Stuckey concentrates, and by the time he made the catch, he was waiting to get blown up. There's no one there. NC State's going to score a touchdown.
Clemson comes in with some late substitutions. NC State's running all over the place. You got players open. You got complete confusion. State should take a timeout, and they get a break as I think Clemson has stopped the clock here. Let's see who called the timeout. We may have had both sides requesting a timeout on that one. Let's see who's going to get charged with it.
Timeout. Clemson. First timeout.
Guys coming on, guys coming off. Both teams requesting a timeout. Tommy Bowden on the sideline got his first. So 2:08 left. Let's go back to that near pick 6 by Tulloch.
Well, it happened so fast, Mike, that I think North Carolina State, their team got confused. Great call. They bring the pressure, trying to set up the screen. Tulloch is there. I mean, the ball's intercepted. Look at the North Carolina State defense respond to trying to eat. They're going to make blocks. I mean, one guy's celebrating, Holman's celebrating, thinking that it's a, it's an interception. But no, it goes the other way. And Stuckey twice now is trying to bounce everything to the outside. And if he cut it back into the middle, he's got big plays.
You saw Stephen Tulloch there on the sideline. He's been the top tackler in all 4 games for North Carolina State. 5'11", 230. He's had 13 or more tackles in each game, including 15 in our game last Thursday against Georgia Tech in Atlanta. And there you see his totals on the season. So many of those Miami area players, the area that Chuck Amato recruited for Bobby Bowden at Florida State, brought some of those players in here at NC State as we have another whistle. There are 31 Floridians on this North Carolina State team. All right.
All right. Here we go.
This play was stopped for no reason.
See if North Carolina State keeps their blitz on. They had J.J. Jones from his safety spot coming on a blitz.
That's why the fans are a little uptight, too.
I'd be upset. Now they have to switch up the call.
Dustin Fry, the junior, snaps it to Whitehurst. James Davis, the freshman, bounced it to the outside. Ball down around the headgear at the 15. Flag it. Bring him down to the 7.5. Half the distance to the goal if it's a personal foul, and it'll be first and goal for Clemson. 18 on the run for Davis.
Mike, we make such a big deal out of the defensive ends and really the front 4 of North Carolina State. Their speed, their strength, how most of them have a future in the NFL.
Face mask, number 4 on the defense. 5 yards onto the end of the run. First down.
J.J. Jones, just a 5-yard flag.
I want you to watch Barry Richardson, the left tackle from Clemson. We'll come back and look at it because he did such a wonderful job as a sophomore to seal Manny Lawson and to spring Davis loose for that big carry.
That guy is huge.
Oh, my gosh. Just a sophomore. 6'7", 335 pounds. And he's agile. He moves very well.
Aaron Kelly is the receiver to his side, the top of the screen. Bobby Williamson was the tight end in motion. Up the middle, they run it down to the 4-yard line again with the freshman Davis.
This is what I'm talking about with a different Clemson team. They're getting into the red zone, and now they're under center, and they're getting physical. I want you to watch this block here because by sealing him, look at that. By sealing him, he takes Manny Lawson, who's one of the best defensive ends in this conference, to the inside, and now you get an indication of how fast James Davis is getting to the corner. Clemson under center in the red zone, getting tough this year. Completely different looking offense than what we've seen in the past from Tommy Bowden.
Cliff Harrell, the fullback to block. It's the freshman Davis again. There's another penalty marker down as this play on second down came down to the 3. That will be the 4th NC State penalty.
Offside. Number 96 on the defense. Half a distance to the goal. Repeat second down.
Ronaldo Moses.
Mike, I think half the time NC State on all these offsides, they line up offsides.
Yeah, nobody's jumped there.
Last week they lined up offsides, and I think they got them again this week. A couple times. Watch Clemson's offensive line. I've never seen anything like this. They're inside the 5-yard line. They're not in the three-point stance. Is that amazing?
No hands on the ground. Oh.
Hey now, here we go. This one may go on Clemson.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 75 on the offense, 5 yards, still second down.
Put your hand on the ground, that doesn't happen, right?
Rob Spence is the offensive coordinator, and I thought, when they got into the two-point stance, maybe it's pass protection, maybe it's, when they're coming back in their stance, but no. When they get into a 3rd and 1 situation or inside the 5 and they're trying to come off the ball, they sit in a 2-point stance.
Play clock running down here. They're all right now. They got the play in. So after all those flags, this is still 2nd and goal for Whitehurst. Scrambling. Only a yard. And when Kirk told you at the very beginning about a poised team and a veteran quarterback, there's a good example. 35th consecutive start, has his degree, son of a former NFL quarterback, graduate student. He didn't force anything there. Just keep it alive and live for 3rd down.
There's nothing wrong with either throwing that ball away or taking off and trying to get as much as you can with it. Clemson now has an opportunity again to try to put the ball in the end zone. And Mike, against man coverage, a lot of times the crossing routes and the rub routes down in this area can be very effective in trying to find a way to get the ball to Aaron Kelly, number 80, or Chancey Stuckey, their go-to man, number 2.
6 defensive backs in the game for State. Whitehurst fires for the end zone, wide open, cutting across is Curtis Bayham for his 4th touchdown of the year. We mentioned one safety, Miguel Scott, is out, and with 6 DBs, more people on the field. And they were able to make him pay with Bayham, the senior out of New Orleans, who caught his 4th touchdown of the year. Jad Dean adds his 13th extra point of the year, and a penalty marker is down.
Mike Bayham didn't do anything elaborate. He just was able to find a hole in the back of the end zone. Another offsides here on NC State.
5 on pace for 20 penalties, 5 in the quarter. Probably added to the kickoff.
On the defense, penalty is declined. The point is good.
So it's 7-0.
Mike, as I said, the receiver here didn't do anything elaborate or crazy. It was a pretty simple route. It was just the quarterback had time to throw. Bayham's going to come up, and then when he gets to the back of the end zone, DeJuan Morgan, number 7, actually loses him in coverage. There's some little bit of confusion there. Morgan doesn't have his head. He's looking around. I think he thought it was zone. The rest of them are playing man, and it left a wide open receiver in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. Great job up front by the offensive line to giving Charlie Whitehurst time. But that's why defensive coordinators get so frustrated with mental mistakes. Everybody has to be on the same page, so you don't have a guy break free in the back of the end zone when you get inside that red zone.
You were talking about the ankle of Charlie Whitehurst when he came over to the sideline earlier. They were looking at Whitehurst's ankle after that touchdown. So we'll keep an eye on that next time he comes out. 7-0. Clemson jumps on top here in the final minute of this first quarter. Darrell Blackman, Andre Brown back deep to receive for North Carolina State. Blackman looks looked like he couldn't get his footing at first. Stumbles on out to the 27-yard line. And that's where the Wolfpack would take over. You know, these penalties, we kind of giggle about it a little bit. Chuck Amato addressed it. It's a little bit of mindset, but it's a little bit troubling because that's 5 already in the first quarter. 3 offside penalties. That's just silly stuff.
Well, it's discouraging because every week it's a big issue. Okay, here's what's going to happen. You're going to do up downs. You're going to have to wake up and run. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. The seniors are going to run you. We're all going to run together. And something's not getting across to these guys because they continue to make silly mistakes. It's okay if you're making an aggressive mistake, Mike, but lining up off sides, having an illegal procedure, little things that can just add up to destroy your effort to win a football game. That's unacceptable.
Davis's pass for Darrell Blackman is incomplete. I mean, a lot of coaches do a lot of different things. Some focus on it. Some take the focus away, and Chuck Amato's really tried everything in this process, hasn't he?
He sure has. I think one week he even got involved and did up downs himself. You know, he said, "Hey, that one's on this mistake is on me." As
There's
a head
too many
coach.
men on the field.
Yeah,
Penalty.
and I'm gonna do up downs with you. And I think the best way to control that, and we've talked with different coaches, is to control the playing time. If you take away playing time, then you can control a player and take away from what's most valuable to him.
25 seconds left in the quarter. Clemson is being very aggressive to the ball. There is no fooling Antonio Clay on that play. There are a lot of good freshmen on this Clemson football team, and Clay out of Jeffersonville, Georgia, is one of them. His tackle will bring us to the end of this first quarter. Tony Baker carry there, his 7th for 35 yards. State had the better field position, but Clemson put together the only scoring drive. And after 15 in Raleigh, the road team is +7. Seventh year that Tommy Bowden's been the head coach at Clemson, and each year, of course, in the ACC, that means a meeting with Daddy, as he would say. Bobby Bowden, the, of course, Florida State legend, the winningest coach in the history of 1A football. Who has affection on both sides here. Chuck Amato, his longtime assistant. Bobby Bowden will join us by phone as this second quarter gets underway. Jay Davis's pass is incomplete before Coach Bowden. SportsCenter 30 at 30, and we send it back to Reese.
All right, Mike, LeBron James has been hospitalized with chest pain. The team calling it a strained muscle, and the Cavaliers say that there's no reason to believe that his heart is an issue. LeBron led the league in minutes played last year. He's been very durable. And Michelle Wie tied for 12th after the first round of the LPGA Samsung World Championship. She turned pro, not a member of the LPGA Tour yet, have to be 18 to do that. Just turned 16. Things looking okay for Michelle, Mike.
Yeah, right now things okay at 16, Reese. Here's the kick by Durrani to Chancey Stuckey, well covered by State. He's down at the 28. Let's bring in the head coach of the Florida State Seminoles and the daddy of the Clemson coach, Bobby Bowden. Bobby, these have got to be tough games for you, I know, to watch because of, obviously, Tommy and your affection for Chuck Amato on the NC State side.
Yeah, it'd be much easier if they were not playing each other. Chuck was an assistant here for 18 years. In fact, Tommy was working with us a little bit back in those days when Chuck was here. Then, of course, having my son on the other team, it's interesting. But it'd be better if they wasn't playing each other.
You have a quarter of the league essentially with the Bowden field because Chuck has done so many things that your program has done, and Tommy and yourself obviously rolling at Florida State. And after this play, we'll ask you about that. 1st and 10 from the 28, and Whitehurst with the long toss to Stuckey. He was pulled down after a gain of about a yard. How often do you talk to Tommy during the week, and how often do you talk to Chuck?
Tommy and I usually talk Sundays after we both play, and then we'll probably talk again maybe Wednesday, and then we'll usually talk the day before the game. I didn't get to talk to him today. I did call him tonight at 6, hoping I could get him on his cell phone, but I couldn't. But we talk a lot. Chuck and I talk about once a week ourselves.
Chuck was talking as we were in his office yesterday how he looks forward to those calls, and both still ask for advice.
Yeah. Well, I went through that same thing when I was their age, so I know what they're looking for.
2nd and 9, the pass knocked down by Tulloch.
Coach, is it tougher for you to coach your own team and to deal with your set of circumstances, or to watch your son coaching and at times having to deal with criticism?
Well, sometimes that's a very good question, because I think, you know how it is, it hurts. I think sometimes it hurts a parent more when one of their children are hurt than it would themselves. And I think it's probably very much the same thing in regard to criticism. When you hear your sons get criticized real bad, or which all of our family have had a little bit of that. You know, I can handle my own, I think, probably easier than I can handle theirs.
And we know it's toughest on your wife, Ann. Here's the third down toss that's complete. Nice run here by Kelly for the first down. He kept going and took it out to the 42-yard line. I saw her, Coach, after I did the Florida State-Syracuse game, and she was just sick and worried about how Tommy was doing because they were in another tight game. It's amazing how Ann is. There was a time in my career where I was the head coach at Florida State. Tommy was an assistant coach at Alabama. Was at Samford University, and Terry was at Auburn, and Jeffrey was at Samford. Ann had to win 4 games every Saturday. I couldn't live with it. We're going to ask you about your team here in a second, playing Virginia in our primetime game Saturday night on ESPN. Meantime, a nice first down gain there by the redshirt freshman Kelly. And from the 41, here's a run with James Davis for 6 to the 47.
Coach, your team is as young as you are, especially on offense. What's your evaluation of this team at this point as you kind of get to that halfway point in the season? Yeah, the big thing right now is that our freshmen are not playing like freshmen. I think we're playing around 25 freshmen and probably got about 38 or 40 on our team. That's counting redshirt freshmen. And wow. So there's a lot of our freshmen probably more talented than our upperclassmen in a lot of the positions. And the thing is, Kirk, they haven't played like freshmen. That's the big thing now. Here's a freshman, James Davis, running for your son inside the 30, and Davis has been a difference maker on this drive. Baham and Grisham, the receivers, gave him a great block to the 21-yard line. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing if you're lucky enough to get a freshman that can help you, what it does for you? And I've watched this boy the last 2 or 3 ball games. He gives them something. Out of Atlanta, Georgia, Coach, and I'll tell you another guy, he's not a freshman, but a sophomore, Barry Richardson, the left tackle, going up against a great defensive end, Manny Lawson. And this offensive line from Clemson right now, and Tommy Bowden told us about how much more physical they are up front. Yeah. And boy, we're seeing it tonight. Yeah, I think Tommy wanted that when he made a change on his offensive staff, and offensive coordinator he's got now, I think he likes a tougher running game than what Clemson has been used to doing. It'll give them it'll make them tougher. It'll sure open up the passing game. Davis carried for 3. I think we have a substitution infraction. It's just a plain old offsides here on North Carolina State. Coach, your game against Virginia coming up here on Saturday. I know you've lost Meinrad off your offensive line, and that has you a little bit concerned going up against Al Groh's team. Well, it does. We'll move John Frady, who started 2 games this year at center. We'll move him over there and just hope we can stay healthy, because we're down to our reserves. And of course, we're playing the University of Virginia, and I expect them to really spring back. You know, a lot of times I'd rather play somebody after a win than I had a loss. 1st and 5. We've got a timeout signaled here. Coach, I want to ask one more question before we let you go. Okay. The last time the #1 team in the nation went into South Bend, it was your team in '93. Yeah. What advice would you give Pete Carroll? Not that he needs much, but what advice would you give him about the scene they're heading into Saturday at USC? Believe them when they start talking about the ghost of Notre Dame. I refuse to listen to that ghost stuff, but after the game, I was a believer, boy. It'll be some scene. That was the first time College Game Day went on the road back in '93, and I think this is going to be a heck of a ball game. I really think it's a game either one can win. Stuckey is spun out of bounds. Well, Coach, we look forward to watching your game Saturday night. I know you've got your son and your friend Chuck Amato further down your schedule. We wish you the best, and we look. Hey, you got to keep going. Joe Paterno's winning games. Don't let him catch you there, Bobby. I'm mad at him. Mad at him. Good talking to you. Best to the family, Coach. Hey, thank you, man. We'll see y'all later. Bye. Okay, bye. He's the best. He's the best. Well, I can keep him on for 4 quarters. Right? Pretty good. And there's the game Saturday night now. It's 7:45 Eastern. #4 team in the nation. Drew Weatherford, their quarterback, is looking sharp. And I saw them in person, and those wide receivers, like Greg Carr, those Fred guys. Rouse, Greg Carr. They're starting to look sweet. I know. Starting to look like the old Knowles. How many freshmen Bobby Bowden and the Knowles are playing right now? And The more experience they get, obviously, the better and more comfortable they become in that system. And Drew Weatherford right now, Bobby Bowden said it, in their scheme, the more he becomes capable of not only making throws, but understanding what they're doing, getting into the right checks, the more dangerous they become with all that great skill that they have with Booker and Washington and now the freshman receivers.
Meantime, this drive has been terrific. Clemson moving it down the field, mixing things up, using those backs, especially James Davis, who has been really good the last, I'd say, 10 offensive plays for Clemson.
Gosh, Mike, and that offensive line.
Into the hands of Stuckey. Takes it inside the 10. He's brought down at the 9 by Garland Heath. Penalty marker down. It's, watch what the flag is as we visit with Aaron.
Guys, an update for you on quarterback Charlie Whitehurst. It looked like his ankle had ended up being his big left toe. It's not turf toe. It's something that he injured tonight. They taped that thing up pretty good. He was running around before he had to go out there. He said it wasn't a problem pushing off. Also, bad news for NC State's defense. Their linebacker, Oliver Hoyt, he's back in the locker room getting x-rays on his left ankle, guys.
Yeah, we saw him limp off there earlier, Aaron. I've lost track if that's the third or the fourth offside. It's certainly the 6th penalty on North Carolina State.
Mike.
Yeah, 4 offsides, Kirk.
4 offsides, and I think 2 or maybe 3 are just by lining up offsides.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, nobody's jumping.
Forget running them. Get them glasses. Forget the running. They need to line up right.
So 1st and 5 for the 6'5" graduate student out of Duluth, Georgia. Whitehurst keeping. Whitehurst running to the end zone. Touchdown. There's a penalty marker down, thrown back in the backfield, and this might be coming back. Let's check it. Yep, it will. Had it all set up, too. Using Charlie Whitehurst's deception to run.
Holding number 64 on the offense. 10 yards. Repeat first down.
That's Chip Myrick, a senior backup who does play a lot.
Mike, this is one of those plays you wait for the right time, and you just wait to have the opportunity to call it when the defense is overcommitting, which they did right there. Myrick didn't even need to really make that block with McCargo, and Whitehurst scores the touchdown.
Now the NC State fans trying to get their defense. It has been very flat in here right from the start. 2nd down. Whitehurst hauled in. Stuckey brought down at the 7. We'll still have 2nd and goal, or 2nd, I'm sorry, and about 4 coming up. 2nd and 4.
Chancey Stuckey has not only great hands, but this guy, we've already seen him tonight. It's a former quarterback, so you know he has great hands.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But we've already seen him tonight.
Except when the check comes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We've already seen him tonight have not only the great hands, but also quick reflexes to get his hands up to make some big catches.
Steven Jackson, who went to East Tennessee State, is in at the fullback. It's a fake to the back. Whitehurst to the end zone. Touchdown for the tight end. Bobby Williamson came across the formation, brings in his first down, and it is 13-0 on the road for Clemson. Whitehurst still gimping on that toe. But leads a good drive, and this play is being reviewed. It would be an 8-play, 72-yard drive. Officials making sure what their call on the field was. And now we'll go back through this mechanism where the technical advisor in the replay booth, a floor above us, checks it out.
Get a closer look to see if Williamson made the catch. I love the call. The call was tremendous. Gets his hands underneath. It's a matter of he bobbled it or not. It's inconclusive. I think that's going to be a touchdown for Clemson.
Look good.
But the call, Mike, falls right in line with what they're trying to do on offense. I think it'd be tough for them to reverse that.
After review, play stance is called on the field. Touchdown.
And well done. Very quickly administrated.
Exceptional call by Tommy Bowden and Rob Spence, the offensive coordinator, have had success on that drive, running with James Davis, set it up there with play action, rolling Charlie Whitehurst. By the way, we're seeing a lot of that this year from him. Last year was always the shotgun. This year, as they say, different launching points for Whitehurst because they're moving him around a lot off of the play action.
Nice job by the holder, Cole Jason, to get it down for Jad Dean. Back-to-back 8-play drives, capped off by the touchdown, the first one of the year for Bobby Williamson. Whitehurst, 9 of 12 tonight, including his second touchdown. College football primetime presented by Cooper Tires. Clemson fans, this is the first time you can actually put your feet up watching a Tiger game all year. This is the largest lead of the season for Clemson. 14-0. All these tight final second games. But the defense has come up with 2 3-and-outs, paralleling the 2 8-play long field drives to make it 14-0 for the Tigers. See what Darrell Blackman can do on a return. Darrell Blackman has room. Blackman across midfield, and he's brought down in Clemson territory at the 42 by Tremaine Billy. 57-yard return.
Mike, this is exactly what North Carolina State needed. This is right now a flat stadium, a flat team. They've been making a lot of silly mistakes. They need a play to get their team back in his football game, and you knew that Blackman, with the ability and the speed, he always has the potential. He got tired of waiting. He just took off, made a cut, and was very close to taking it to the distance.
17 plays, just 66 yards for North Carolina State's offense. Davis tried to get it out to his tight end, Octavius Darby. And the pass was incomplete.
Mike, I just want to show you this touchdown because the balance was so impressive and the play call. They're going to go play action. They're going to try to get the ball to the tight end, Williamson, who's going to run a drag. But the thing to respond to is watch North Carolina State. Look at their defense right here. And more importantly, the safety who's trying to stay with Williamson, who's going into the corner for a touchdown. The defense is responding to the play action just the way Rob Spence wants because the offensive line and James Davis, the running back, had success on that drive.
Jay Davis, the quarterback for NC State, 0 for his last 5. He lets Tony Baker do the work. His fumble, let's see if he's down or recovered. No, it is out, and it is Clemson football. So Baker fighting for extra yards, trying to make something happen, coughs it up, and Clemson gets the first turnover of the night.
Mike, let me go back again. The keys for North Carolina State. They can't self-destruct on offense. They've got to build rhythm. The ball is ripped out of there by Jamal Fudge and recovered by Fudge. Sustain drives by building rhythm and not self-destruct. So far in this first half, that's all we've seen from North Carolina State's offense. Give Clemson credit, but a reoccurring theme for Chuck Amano and his offense.
So Jamal Fudge, whose mom named him after former NBA champion Jamal Wilkes. He comes up with the silky smooth play there and hit up the middle with the freshman James Davis down to the 46-yard line. This is fixing to get ugly.
Mike, I can't get over the play of the offensive line. The North Carolina State strength is their front four. Every NFL scout in this building tonight is looking at Mario Williams and Manny Lawson and John McCargo. And tonight they're seeing a young Clemson offensive line dominate the line of scrimmage and a young running back breaking tackles and gaining more confidence as this game goes on. They don't have a senior on the front, on the offensive line. Clemson does not have a senior.
Davis, 5 carries, 76 yards. The last play was 16. In NC State territory, again the tight end, Bobby Williamson, to the 36-yard line. A couple of things that were not a part of this offense were big here the last few plays. Tight ends, Williamson caught the last touchdown, gets that one there. And the fullback, not really a part of their offense with the spread last year, being in two-back in I, the power look on that touchdown play helped all that flow go over defensively, and the tight end sneaks behind them.
The one thing I would say watching Clemson, they attack. And they brought that up to us. They attack on all. Right now, there's no question who's on offense and who's on their heels.
It's part of Rob Spence's mentality. Another opening for Davis, spinning into the secondary. Brought down at the 23-yard line. Gain of 14.
Another great job up front. This time the right guard, Nathan Bennett, opening things up here. The right side, the left side, the entire group. Look at the hole that Davis is doing a great job. But look how far he is downfield until he has to make Garland Heath miss. That's the square button or the zero button there. If you're a gamer, if you're a gamer, it's the zero button. That's this little spin there by James Davis.
What are you talking about?
Little video game action.
What are you talking about? Like you know what you're doing. Davis, love what this running back brings. Here he goes to the 18-yard line. In addition to all that he brings as a running back, remember he's just a freshman, 5'11", 210 pounds. Really a survival story in many regards. Grew up in a tough part of Atlanta. Mom unemployed with 6 children between ages of 12 and 21 in one of those tough neighborhoods that you hear about where friends are killed and left to die in the street, and you run home and you get back and you call your friends, see if they're around. He survived that tough surrounding, put up those impressive high school numbers as a senior. And here he is at Clemson making a very big impact on a good-looking offense. Whitehurst up top for Aaron Kelly. He's going to be out of bounds and incomplete. Aaron has more on James Davis, the running back.
You mentioned he's from Atlanta. He has waited for this moment. He says he trains every summer with Ravens running back Jamal Lewis and Packers cornerback Ahmad Carroll, both grads of his high school. And like Rob Spence told us, in a couple of years, everybody will be talking about James Davis, guys.
That's Douglas High School over there in Atlanta.
He's got it all, Mike. Size, speed, strength, everything you're looking for. The only thing that has slowed down his progression is, like a lot of true freshmen, pass protection. But at this point in the season, he's gotten a lot better than that, and that's why he's able to stay on the field on third down.
Important third down for NC State. They light up Whitehurst, who throws underneath, complete for the first down. What a good, experienced quarterback play there. Gets it to Curtis Bayham, and the drive stays alive with 8.5 before the half.
You're seeing so many different looks, not only with the personnel groupings and who's coming on and off the field, not only with the formations, but also we've seen him under center a lot. There's the blitz by Jones, and you can see Davis a little bit slow to come over to recognize the blitz and then to finally come over and just give Whitehurst enough room there. But Mike, there's so many different looks. It makes it so much tougher on a defense to prepare for such a versatile attack.
They are so balanced here tonight. Davis up the middle into the end zone. 21-0. Clemson is blowing NC State out. Wow. It all started with a Jamal Fudge fumble. He caused it. Got it back, and the Tigers are up 3 touchdowns.
Davis is getting the credit, and I'm going to give the offensive line 6 points because this is a trap. And look at McCargo get lit up by Roman Fry. Open that up, and James Davis makes a guy miss. But he doesn't have to make anybody miss until he's 10 yards downfield.
What a block by Fry.
Oh, my God.
Where's he from? What state?
He's Ironton, Ohio.
Oh, gosh.
Tough kid down
Never mind.
the river.
I didn't ask that.
Ohio River.
You know, we may talk a lot about Ohio and lots of things here if this keeps going this way, huh? Davis over 100 yards. 21-0 Clemson.
It's time for your chance to win one of 100 Philips HD TVs with DirecTV service for a year. Log on to 100yardblitz.com to enter. The code word is Raleigh.
Not happy in Raleigh right now unless you are a Clemson Tiger fan. Clemson has scored 3 touchdowns here in about 7 minutes to make it a 21-0 lead. James Davis, the freshman out of Atlanta, with a lot on that drive, including the 12-yard score. Meantime, NC State has just 13 yards on its last 8 plays. The offense is gone into reverse. Well, they need to hit one of those video game buttons. Maybe make something happen. Now, yesterday, while all of see there I am talking to Jay Davis. Aaron's back on the couch talking to the tight end T.J. Williams. Where's Herbie? You wonder where is Kirk? Is he? Oh, there he is. He's playing PlayStation. NCAA football 2006. Who do you play there?
That's good blocking.
Lamar Barrett?
Yeah.
Oh, look at the intensity here. Very tough. Lamar was Georgia. Kirk, what team did you take?
I used Virginia. No, I used Ohio. I think I used Ohio State.
You used Ohio State. Well, we'll get back to the result momentarily. First and 10 for Davis, and run.
What are you talking about?
Yards. Excuse me, sir. May I wrap this up here? Here is the end of the game. Sorry, Kirk. You were.
Yeah, you can't stop the deep pass, man. It's not long. It's not long. Did you hear what they said?
Did you hear what they said?
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Apparently, what I'm told is you can't pass the ball. Is that right?
No. I'm like
you're a better
Fisher
runner.
To Barry.
You're a better runner.
We're trying to run the ball and can't defend the deep ball.
So this is kind of true to life for you, huh? You can run it well, but passing's an issue.
The key here is I need to put more hours in. You know, 3 kids and
Oh, PlayStation.
You just don't have the time.
Not much time.
You know, in college, these guys are putting in quality time after their studies are done, of course.
Mr. PlayStation over here. A penalty marker down here on this snap. And seriously, we go every week to different campuses. Actually, we have this side judge who's down back on the far side of the play across the field, and they are looking at his knee as he is down on all fours.
Delay a game on the offense. 5 yards, still second down.
All right, so they're going to help the side judge, Timan Oyejiri, off the field, and we'll go with 6 for the moment.
I'll make you a guarantee. That could become a new little wrinkle of the Thursday night package. Whoever the home team is, I take on, and by about week 3 or 4, I promise you I'm going to get a victory. I need a few more reps, that's all. I'm like James Davis. I just need to get out there a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more. It is fun to see the kids play it, and obviously all the other officials there are concerned for their fellow officials. The side judge was shaken up, so the back judge will now come on down here to be the side judge, and we will go for the moment with 6. Was a flag on North Carolina State. It's 7th of the night, so we have 2nd and a dozen. Davis cannot hit Brian Clark cutting across the middle. So we'll have 3rd down coming up. Davis has missed his last 6. Here comes the side judge, upper right portion of your screen. As he ran in there to throw the flag, injured himself right away. So hopefully it's not ankle or Achilles injury or something like that. And we hope he's okay. NC State's offense is not. 3rd and a dozen. Pressure coming up the middle. Just screen it out to Darrell Blackman. Ball comes out. Let's see if it's after the whistle or not. No, it's okay. It was a fumble recovered by NC State. It's 4th down, and the last 4 possessions, 3 3-and-outs and a fumble, and the fans in Raleigh are not satisfied.
Mike, watch the closing speed of Nick Watkins, the linebacker here. He's going to get right through the offensive line and come in and take down the ball carrier Blackman. Ball's loose. NC State comes up with it. I don't know what's been more impressive tonight. Rob Spence or Vic Koenig, the new coordinators at Clemson, doing a great job tonight preparing their team on both sides of the ball early in this game for Tommy Bowden.
John Duraney, who missed a field goal earlier, gets a very nice punt off. Smartly fair caught back at the 32-yard line. There's a penalty marker down right back at the punter. A 50-yard kick. Let's see if they roughed up Duraney too much.
Personal foul. Number 93, roughing the kicker. 15 yards, automatic. 1st down.
Gaines Adams, and you want to talk about your all-time silly penalties, completely behind the play. Nothing is going for NC State, and you hand them the momentum and you hand them the ball.
Mike, for Clemson this year, this is completely uncharacteristic. poor decision. Well, it's his follow-through coming off of the block. It's not as if he just came out and laid out and made a poor decision. He got thrown in to the punter. Actually, I apologize. I'll tell you what.
Well, let me tell you what's wrong. It's not a personal foul. If you're going to call roughing the kicker, that's the incorrect call by the official. He makes the mistake to start with. Then on top of that, for those of you wondering, if you're blocked into the guy, it's still a penalty.
How about
you're
if you're
responsible for your body.
You're held and thrown into the punter?
That's the penalty. That should be on NC State for holding. Exactly.
Gaines Adams didn't do anything wrong. So I was about to say Clemson, that's uncharacteristic for them this year. They're one of the best teams in the country for being the least penalized, second in the country. Gaines Adams is trying to just hold up. He gets thrown right into the punter by Manny Lawson. He didn't do anything wrong.
Yep, you're exactly right. It's the third major penalty on Clemson tonight, and that was wrong. That was a bad call.
Tommy Bowden will see. He might be frustrated right now with Gaines Adams, but he sees the tape. He's going to be frustrated with the official because Gaines Adams didn't do anything wrong.
I think he was mad at the official to begin with. Tommy was, because Gaines didn't come out. And I think Tommy would have taken him out if it was a silly penalty.
Oh yeah.
Here's Darrell Blackman, gets the first down over by the 49-yard line.
Now, with all that confusion and all that said, here comes a team that was just about to be counted out, catching a break, 5:23 to halftime. This becomes a huge break and an advantage that North Carolina State doesn't have a choice. They have to capitalize and get 6 points on this drive.
It's a North Carolina State team that is 2-2, but one of those two was a victory over Eastern Kentucky. As you look at the side judge, who is now on crutches, as he is being worked toward the locker room, and the officials take a timeout here for administrative purposes. Again, working with 6, they'll have to just make some slight adjustments, although the lack of an official in no way influenced that last penalty call. That's the referee's call exclusively. The quarterback and the kicker, that was right in front of him. They hit the tight end Anthony Hill, and he gets hit by Anthony Waters. No gain. We're going to go down to Aaron Andrews again. Aaron.
Mike, that side judge, Timon O'Jury is his name. They're saying he ruptured his left Achilles heel. He told me to make sure his mom is watching. He said, Mom, he'll be okay, guys.
All right, Aaron. Thank you. You assume that's what happened, but you don't want to speculate on an injury like that. But at least we can get back word to his family as well. Second and 10 from the 49, and here is Davis. They need something deep, throws it in the middle, and they finally hit one of those. And on top of that, you're going to have a roughing the passer penalty. So first you'll have the completion to Lamar Barrett, and the penalty will take it down to the 20-yard line.
The protection was great. The ball is thrown, and Watkins comes in and lays out Jay Davis for the big mistake and a penalty. But Mike, the timing and being able to have time to throw that crossing route that deep. Again, this is North Carolina State getting a little bit out of their comfort zone, sitting back there and throwing the ball deep downfield. Well, that looked like it was okay to me.
In live action, it looked okay, and I like this by Tommy Bowden. They take a timeout here. Just kind of stem a little bit of that building momentum for North Carolina State as they were handed it by the penalty thrown on the punt. NC State trying to climb back in this game, down 21-0.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by the Open Small Business Team at American Express. To learn more, visit now.open.com or call 1-800-NOW-OPEN. And Budweiser Select, brewed for a crisp taste that finishes clean. Be selective.
With Aaron Andrews and Kirk Herbstreit, Mike Tirico, glad you're with us here in Raleigh. Clemson scoring on 3 consecutive possessions to make it 21-0, right when the North Carolina State offense went south. 3 3-and-outs and a turnover for their last 4 possessions, but the 4th one kept alive by a questionable flag. So now Jay Davis and the Wolfpack hit the red zone. From the 20, Darrell Blackman, the running back, into the end zone. Touchdown, Wolfpack. 20 yards, and that huge flag on the punt gives NC State momentum. Darrell Blackman, who missed last week with a high ankle sprain, comes back. He's back at full strength and takes it for his second touchdown of the year. Here's John Duraney on for the extra point. He knocks through his 13th of the year. And a much-needed turn of momentum for the Wolfpack, make it 21-7.
Mike, we've been bragging a lot tonight about Clemson and the job they've done up front. Well, North Carolina State, when they need it the most, got two good blocks from their tight ends, T.J. Williams and Anthony Hill. And the thing you always hear about and we talk about, to be a great college back, sometimes you have to make that last guy miss or shake him and run through him. And that time, Darrell Blackman did that, running through Ty Hill, the corner, who was there, unblocked to make the play. That's tough running by Darrell Blackman.
Two big penalties, one that kept the drive alive in the middle, and then the one after the punt, after NC State was right there for its fourth consecutive possession of 3-and-out or a turnover. And as you see this, I'll read to you Kirk's favorite part of the week from the rule book. A defensive player legally blocked into the kicker is not exempt from fouls of running into or roughing the kicker. However, Mr. Herbstreit, a defensive player illegally blocked into the kicker, that means like a hole, you grab and you throw them in. When you are illegally blocked into the kicker, that then means that you are exempt from fouls. So as you said, there was a hole there in your mind.
Yeah.
That means you are exempt from a foul. You can't be called if that's the case.
And you're grabbed and thrown into the punter. I mean, Gaines Adams didn't do anything wrong. Manny Lawson deserves an assist. Manny Lawson, North Carolina State gets a touchdown, and we're talking about Blackman's great run, but Manny Lawson definitely deserves an assist because he created that penalty.
Duraney with the kickoff, no return coming. Clemson has a long field, and we send it to Reese Davis for a preview of what's ahead at the half. Reese?
All right, Mike, coming up on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report, Desmond and Mark are alongside. We'll check in on the Trojans and Irish, get ready for that showdown this weekend. Also, Tulane on the road, what a rough road it's been, but home game of sorts this weekend. We'll talk about that and also deliver the Pontiac game-changing performance.
I don't care about the emotion at Notre Dame and South Bend, Herbie. I think USC's just going to run wild over this Notre Dame.
Don't listen to him, Herbie. Don't listen to him. He's being blinded by the lights.
He has not been sucked in by that Notre Dame mystique, at least not yet.
Not the hype. Not the hype. They ain't buying it.
But Des, he picks them to lose every week. You're bound to be right once in a while.
See you guys at halftime. First down from the 20. Here's a run for James Davis, who gains 2 yards. Hey, before we go farther on that, I just want to make one more point on that penalty. It's much like last night's baseball game, where everybody's complaining about Doug Eddings, the home plate umpire, and his call and his umpiring mechanics. It's, hey, that had nothing to do with stealing second or the 0-2 pitch that was grooved for the double by Creedy to win the game.
Big hit.
Same thing here. Clemson had their chances to take NC State off the field. They prolonged the drive with a silly roughing the passer penalty, and they got what they deserved, a long drive. Whitehurst, wide open is Chancey Stuckey. They fooled him. Stuckey takes it in the secondary, and a good open field tackle by Garland Heath is the only thing that keeps it from 6 points. A gain of 39 yards.
Mike, that time, the experience of Charlie Whitehurst allows Clemson, with the crowd getting back into the game, a little pump fake, gets to safety to bite up, and well-designed play. Stuckey again into the open field, and if Heath doesn't make that tackle, Stuckey's into the end zone.
They are missing Miguel Scott tonight in that back end, Kirk. 25, who was hurt on the interception last week in Atlanta. Whoa, hey, an offside penalty. Free play. Whitehurst throws it to Thomas Hunter. They won't take the flag. It's a gain of 9. Well, they could if they want 1st and 5, or they can have 2nd and 1. That's offside, 91 of the defense. Manny Lawson.
Offside, number 91 on
boy.
the defense. Penalty is declined, second down.
Mike, I just want to show one last thing, going back to the last play. And one of the disadvantages of playing man-to-man. This is a safety on the best receiver from Clemson. J.J. Jones comes up on the pump fake to the screen, gets out of position, and now you've got your best receiver in the slot running downfield uncontested.
Handoff, Davis, gaping hole up the middle. Davis carrying would-be tacklers to the 6. Somebody's having a good half, and his name is James Davis. 133 yards on 10 carries, 23 there.
You know, you almost get, I hate to be redundant, but Davis is running well. But I want you to see the vision that he has, well-designed cutback, but outstanding block that time by Marion Dukes, the right tackle, pushing the stronger offensive or defensive line right out of the way. And Brad Scott, he should be smiling. His group is having a great game. You can put this tape together and have a clinic.
Timeout. 2:52 left. Clemson looking to get back to up 21. Back here in Raleigh, that whole timeout was just a bunch of positive, energized chatter around that the Clemson offense. They are so excited about what they're doing, and they should be. Almost 300 yards in the quarter. Dr. Pepper ACC standings. Clemson at the bottom of the Atlantic, 1-3. This is the last place team in this division. Wow. Florida State and Boston College, 4th and 14 nationally. AC Virginia Tech and Miami, 3rd and 7th in the country. This is 1st and goal from the 6. It is a run to the left with Davis. Easily done. Another Clemson touchdown.
Mike, this just goes to show you what having a back like James Davis can do for you. I've been talking about how he's been ripping through such big holes. This time, North Carolina State's defense in their front defended it well, but you can't defend that. James Davis bounced it to the outside. Power, speed, and the vision to recognize the holes that have been there weren't there on that play. Bounced it outside for a nice score. That's how you answer.
Career high night. Averaging about 12 per. How about all these runs he's had tonight? Jad Dean adds the extra point. He got shortchanged there because he only had 6 yards to go. He's already had runs tonight of 30, 23, 19, 16, 14, and 12. And for the 4th consecutive possession, Clemson takes it over 60 yards for a touchdown. And Mark Trestman and Jay Davis right back to the drawing board to try to find a way to dig out of a 21-point hole.
I want to say this about Clemson. This is a team that in the past and even coming into this year has been criticized about, do they play a full game? Are they going to fight you to the end? And that, you know, last year they beat Miami one week, lose to Duke the next week. They've been inconsistent. One thing that's been consistent, even in their 3 losses, is the way they have fought. This is a different team for Tommy Bowden, heading in a different direction. And I know they've won 5 of their last 6 the last couple years, but I've been really impressed by Tommy's team this year and the way they have played so hard through adversity, getting back in the games, and now they have a nice lead tonight. We'll see how they play with the sizable lead.
How about that for an offensive coordinator's dream?
Perfect balance.
Man, you define balance there, because the funny thing about balance is you want to look at the numbers and say that's balance. Balance is also the threat. You're just as much a threat to run the ball as you are to pass it successfully. And they are balanced in practice and in stats here in this first half.
When you can run the football and be as physical as they are, especially their offense, it's built off of that play action with that ability to run the football. It's virtually impossible to stop them when they're running like this.
Darrell Blackman, good kick return last time. Here's another. Cross midfield, 2 outstanding kick returns by Blackman. This one all the way down to the 21-yard line. 77 yards for Blackman.
And the best thing is there aren't any flags. So North Carolina State can enjoy the big return, and Blackman has basically said, hey, fellas, if you're not going to play tonight, I'm gonna try to keep us in this game.
Well, his first return was 57 yards. This was 77. That's 134. Blackman on 2 kick returns has more yards than the entire offense does tonight.
Well, he is trying to keep the Wolfpack single-handedly in this football game.
And there, Manny Diaz, the special teams coordinator, with a pat on the head. He gets a break as Tony Baker, the freshman who fumbled earlier, gains 4 to the 17-yard line.
The stable of backs here that Chuck Amato has. We were talking, Mike, and there's some great teams out there. Everybody thinks about Lindale White and Reggie Bush at USC, but I'm talking top to bottom. You have Blackman, you have Baker, you have Andre Brown. You're going to look at Andre Brown there as a freshman. Bobby Washington, Reggie Davis. They have 5 backs that would play for a lot of teams in the country.
And they're redshirting another good one, too, on top of that.
Right.
Now, can they block? Can they get those guys the ball? Davis going to try to work it with a screen here. And there goes the freshman back, Baker. He's running hard because he knows Blackman's waiting to come in. He fumbled earlier. Right on the edge of a first down here with 100 seconds. Stop the clock and measure. There you go. And we'll get a look at it. Gaines Adams, involved in that questionable call on the punt earlier, made the tackle there.
There will be a measurement.
Boy, for a team on life support, they have gotten the crucial break when they've needed it to be able to keep them in this game. It's another one of those situations where they don't have an option here. They can't settle for a field goal. They've got to come up with a touchdown.
Is shy by that big hook. It gets the chains linked. So a 3rd and inches in 4-down territory. Mentioned Chuck Amato, 18 years with Bobby Bowden down at Florida State. Now his 7th year here, 46 and, or rather 6th year here, I should say. 2-3 against Clemson, 41-25 his overall record. That's a pretty good record when you think about it. But the expectations got built up with those couple of wins over Florida State. I think people expected 51-15 more than 41-25, and that has become part of the culture here in Raleigh. Expectations have gone through the roof. Third and short. Davis runs for it. Didn't need much at all, so he'll have the first down with 1:30 left.
I think the expectations were paralleled with the success of Phillip Rivers. And when Phillip Rivers left last year, this team struggled, and right away Chuck Amato's critics pointed that it was Phillip Rivers who got all those wins, and it was Phillip Rivers' ability to make plays that got him those wins.
1:22 left. They run Baker inside. Big hit there at the 8-yard line. State has 1 timeout remaining. They can get a first down just inside the 1. Anthony Waters made the hit.
Stopped by Clemson's Anthony Waters. Second down and 7.
TJ Williams, their big tight end, is such a key part of their passing offense. Mostly quiet here tonight. Don't remember calling Williams' name much. Let's see if they go for big number 80 down here in the red zone, where a good tight end can help you. Davis rolling, throws it away. 3rd down coming up.
Jay Davis bailed on that right away, and I think it's because he sensed Tremaine Billy, the linebacker who was coming on a blitz. He had to get out of there because of the pressure. Billy went right through the running back who was trying to pick him up there. But Mike, this North Carolina State team, not only the 3rd down conversions, but the red zone, they have a high success rate, but very few touchdowns.
15 for 16 in the red zone. Only 8 of those 15 scores are touchdowns. Davis looking, throwing, incomplete. Tremaine Hall trying to break off that route and break free, and he is shaken up, holding his left hand. The field goal unit comes on with 32 seconds left.
I don't think Davis realistically was thinking about trying to come up with the touchdown. I think he was throwing the ball away, but I will say this. Tremaine Hall was so involved in the offense over the course of the last 2 years. And this year, even though he's probably their most athletic receiver, a lot of times he just disappears. You don't see him making plays.
Duraney missed earlier here, bangs through a 25-yarder. 28-10 is the score. A very high-scoring first half, but an empty trip in many regards for NC State before the half. Those of you who might just be tuning in, Game Track takes you through the game. Charlie Whitehurst has been brilliant tonight. 13 of 17, 2 touchdown passes. They've scored touchdowns on the last 4 drives. You can be brilliant when you have a freshman running back out of Atlanta like James Davis. 11 carries, 139 yards, and he has the other 2 touchdowns. 31 points scored here in the second quarter, and Clemson scored at the last minute of the first. So all the points have come in a very small window. This is a Clemson team that is 2-3. They've lost their last 3. And the impression of Charlie Whitehurst's team would be so different if the name Wake Forest was different. Because they're 2-2 going into the Wake Forest game, and they lose overtime games to Miami and Boston College, 2 teams in the top 15. And then they go home, they go to Wake Forest, rather, and lose in the last minute of that game, 31-27. And even though Wake has had success the last couple of years in the ACC, fan bases at schools continue to disrespect Jim Grove's team, which is a mistake because they come out, they play you hard. Even Florida State, they gave Florida State a good game for 35-40 minutes last week in Tallahassee. But if they win that game, or if it's another school other than Wake Forest, the whole impression of how good or bad Clemson is, I think, would be different now, Kirk. That went through the goalpost.
Mike, every conference has a Wake Forest that has, because of the parity and the reduction in scholarships, has become a better team. Clemson, you can see the score, 27-24.
And they ran that fake field goal there to try to just get a first down, keep the drive alive. Didn't. Wake scored in the final 34 seconds. Whitehurst brings them downfield. They're stopped 3 yards shy as time expired. And that's how Clemson lost by 4 to get to 2-3.
But these conferences now have the teams that you just don't respect, and these players sometimes struggle to respect, whether it's Wake Forest in the ACC, a Northwestern in the Big Ten, Vanderbilt all of a sudden in the SEC. And players have to learn that you can't just show up and throw your jersey out there and think you're going to win these kind of games. But tonight, that's about as good as it gets for Clemson.
28 plays there, almost 300 yards, 4 consecutive touchdowns. And it's taking Clemson to 28-10. And Chuck Amato's team has some work to do to try to salvage a little bit of the rest of this season to avoid going under 500. And Chuck's down there with Aaron Andrews. Aaron?
Coach, your team continuing to fight hard. Penalties still an issue. What do you tell them at the half?
Well, we got to line up on sides. Their tackles are lined up so deep, we're running relative to the tackle as opposed to the football, which is silly because all we have to do is line up on the ball. We have 5 offside penalties that we were playing real good. We missed a chance for an interception. We started celebrating. They caught it, and that started the barrage. We're going to tell them they have to go out and play. It's a 60-minute football game.
Clemson's offensive line doing a good job creating holes for James Davis. What kind of adjustments do you make?
Tighten up this chin strap. It's about time for us to tighten up our chin strap and get physical.
Look forward to it. Guys, up to you.
Thank you, Aaron. Chuck Amato is honest and true. Hey, line up. It's not too tough. 28-10.
Hit somebody.
Let's get back to Reese in the studio with Mark and Desmond. Reese?
Mike, I actually think that the strategy is very good from North Carolina State. If you're with us on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report, clearly the Wolfpack strategy, let James Davis run until he gets tired. They hope he cramps up in the fourth.